Hey there, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to talk about one of the root causes of suffering today that's listed in the Tantra of the Yoga Sutras book that I'm studying right now. There's 5 of them, so we're going to review the first one today, and it is Avidya, also known as ignorance, our unawareness of our connection to the divine and collective consciousness. Now, even if you don't believe in that, in a higher power, a collective consciousness, or God, you can still recognize how having that belief, whether when you die you find out it's true or not, could provide a fair amount of peace and hope for somebody. Now, let me give you a very personal example about this. I have a deep connection with this that I really understand this first Klesha, Avidya, ignorance, connection to the divine. I am not formally Christian or any sort of religion. I'm spiritual, but growing up, my grandma made us go to church. So my only experience with spirituality or my only knowledge of a higher power was in the context of Christianity. And when I was 17, I had my first son, and he passed away when he was 12 days old. Obviously, that's probably the most awful and most hurtful loss that a person can go through is losing a child. And at the time, I really wasn't very religious. Like, I only went to church when I was younger, when my grandma made me to. And she bought me this book called The Shack when this happened. And I read it, and it's about some guy who's very religious, and he loses his daughter. Some person kidnaps her, and when they do finally find her body, she is dead. Now, he loses all his faith in God. He begins to hate God. And then it's about basically his journey back to God. And really, the key is faith and recognizing our connection to the divine and trying to see that God lives in everybody, and that everybody, even the worst people that you could think of, have suffered in some way that have created who they are. Now, after I read this book, and I went to church a couple times with my grandma because that's what she suggested for me, I actually found a lot of hope and a lot of ease. I don't really know how to put it. Comfort, yes. Okay, so I found a lot of comfort in the idea that my son didn't just cease to exist. The fact that there was some sort of higher power, that his soul was going to live on, to be taken care of, that he was going to be in a better place, that knowledge and that belief is what got me through that hard time. So take somebody, for instance, who has avidya, ignorance of their connection to the divine and their connection to collective consciousness, going through the same situation. It's going to be a lot harder for them, and it's going to be a lot harder for them to move on. It's going to be a lot harder for them to accept what happened when they do not believe in an afterlife, when they do not believe that our spirit lives on outside of our body, that there's no higher power at work. That's going to make it like it's just the end. There's nothingness after that. So it's really quite the letdown when you think of it in that respect. So I personally, over the years, actually came in touch with yoga and spirituality, and I never really believed in like the Bible or rules per se that people try and put on you, like judgments that you put on you, well, like if you do this, you're not Christian or whatever. So I really do resonate more with spirituality. But even then, that my doorway to spirituality and I think my ability to believe in a higher power did start off with very traditional roots. And I'm so glad that I was introduced to anything at all spirituality, because my belief in a higher power and my belief in the divine has made the thought of death, not just for people in my life, but for myself, a lot less daunting. Because I know that when I pass away, my soul will live on in some way, whether it's reincarnated or goes to some sort of alternate dimension or heaven or whatever it is. So that's my spiel about avidya or ignorance. And I'm hoping that any of you that have an atheist type mentality can still see that even if we completely cease to exist when we pass away, that having a belief, having faith that there is something more out there, that there is something bigger than ourselves, and that we as humans are all connected, can bring relief, can bring hope to the people who are suffering. So in a way, it does create suffering to not have that in your life. Well, that's all I have for this Klesha. I will be going through the next 4 Kleshas over the next week or so and spreading them out a little bit. I hope to see you in the next video. Make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't already, so you can be updated with those videos. I also do yoga flows and card readings. And check out my Instagram at Spiritual Enchantress as well. Follow me there to be updated with new content. Have a wonderful day. Bye.